Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So we're coming back again with another review of co-parenting with the Sperlings. And this is season 2, episode 5, By the Block. Okay. So we start this episode out with Stephanie going to the hair salon. And the hair salon is to women what the barbershop is to men. So just like men, if they have a specific barber that they go to all the time, they're going to start sharing certain things with their barber. They're going to have barbershop talk with the rest of the guys, things of that nature. Similar thing with women. Women share a lot with their hairdresser, especially if they have one consistent hairdresser and they've built a rapport over time. So she starts telling her hairdresser about the date that she had a couple of episodes ago. And she tells her hairdresser about how the guy ordered octopus and how that was a little awkward because she didn't like it. Even though in the moment, Stephanie was actually really gracious about that. She wasn't rude about it. She wasn't snarling her nose or talking about how she wanted, or she did nothing of the sort. She was a good sport. She ate the dish, and she had conversation and went on with the date without a hitch, which is what you're supposed to do. Problem is, I share her sentiment of the octopus being a bit much to order for somebody and you don't know them. It's one thing to be, and I know that's sort of a S test from men, right? To see if you're going to be rude about it, to see if you're going to remain in your feminine. Are you going to get mad? Are you going to get upset? Are you going to not eat it at all, not try it? Are you going to complain, and things of that nature? So that's a bit of an S test that men like to do with the women. Are you going to trust his judgment and things of that nature? And basically, are you going to have good manners and good etiquette, even if you didn't like what he did, which I'm not a fan of S tests either way, just to be put that out there. I don't like S tests either way. I don't like when women do it, and I don't like when men do it. I feel like you set yourself up for potential disappointments, because if you order, like, let's say you order something for somebody and they've got an allergy to it, and they don't eat it. Or you order something for somebody and it's a food they don't eat or can't eat. Now they're not going to eat it. Now, is that them being rude, or is that sort of you set yourself up a little bit? That's like ordering lobster for somebody only to find that they have a shellfish allergy. They're not going to eat it. Are they being rude? Or are they got to tell you, I got a shellfish allergy. I can't eat lobster tails. Gotta give me something else. You see what I'm saying? See how that goes? Women's S tests aren't any better. Set yourself up for disappointments and things of that nature, because if the outcome isn't what you think it's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? Just be who you are. Just do what you're gonna do. The person is either going to be they're going to tell you who they are. That's the thing. That's why I don't like S tests, and I don't think that they're valid, because people always tell you who they are. Even if they try to lie, people always tell you who they are. Never fails. I have never at one time met a person that didn't tell me who they were. Now, you can not catch it at first, or you can, it may take you a minute to pick up on the fact that they told you who they were. But if you think back, they told you who they were. And so that's why I don't like S tests. Just be normal. That person's going to show their face. Now, moving on. Dennis actually goes and talks to a man that he's looking for, like, this is a real estate deal, that this is a neighborhood that is like being rebuilt. So it's the hood in that city, but there are opportunities coming back to it because of its close proximity to where most people work. It's just like similarly to the West Side in Chicago. The West Side, a lot of the West Side is the hood, but it's real simple to get from the West Side to downtown where most people work, right? And it's simple to get from the West Side to the west suburbs where people work as well. So the West Side is an ideal place, even though there are a lot of neighborhoods on the West Side that are considered ghetto and considered the hood. A lot of times people will try to reclaim that part of the city. That part of the city is actually getting gentrified in a lot of neighborhoods, actually. And so that is the reason why this particular stretch in that neighborhood became valuable. So Dennis was actually looking to buy some property there because that area was on the rise. And this was an interesting part of the show, because if you listen closely, you might learn a few tidbits on how plots of land become available for purchase in neighborhoods that are neglected or derelict or the hood. So if you listen closely, what you'll understand is actually how the city will work with corporations and things of that nature to develop or redevelop a defunct part of the city. And then you wonder why in a couple of years a mall was built, homes were built, shopping centers were built, restaurants were built, grocery stores were built, things of that nature in an area of the city that was abandoned or run down, right? Or considered an impoverished part of the city. All of a sudden, in a few years, that part of the city is bumping. And then you try to figure out where all these corporations come to buy this land. Why weren't you made aware that that land was for sale? Well, it's all about kind of who you know and what your network and connections are, right? Because if you can get in while these deals are being made, the man mentioned being in conjunction with the city. You have to understand when the city is doing developmental projects like this there, and you have to put your bid in basically for whatever it is that you are trying to do in that particular area while the land is cheap enough to purchase and for you to turn a profit on it if that's what you're going to do, right? So that was actually an interesting part of it. And as well, he sort of, in speaking to this guy, he sort of gave a reason why he gave Stephanie the ring, because he had discussed it with him prior to. And so those reasons were, as we thought, about Stephanie, it really means a lot, or it meant a lot to Dennis. You can tell it meant a lot to Dennis. You'll find in this episode and in the next episode after this, episode 6, how many times he actually mentions his newborn child and how Stephanie maintained herself in the face of that. Like, she could have been really, really, really hell on wheels, and she was not. So that actually really went a long way for him and meant a lot to him, because he mentions it so many times. When a man mentions something several times, it means something to him, whether he's happy about it or whether it makes him upset. If he mentions it a lot of times, then it's something that he thinks about, something that bothers him. It either bothers him or he's glad about it, right? Depending on what it is, right? So it kind of goes back to Stephanie a little bit as well, because the hairdresser seems to think that her and Dennis are going to get back together, or at least the hairdresser hopes that Stephanie and Dennis get back together. And Stephanie it was interesting because she sort of divulged what she thought Dennis thought of her. And she was like, I don't think it will ever happen, mainly because I think Dennis wants the best for me. Like we're friends and he doesn't want to see any harm come to me or anything like that. Like he's not wishing no bad on me or nothing. But I don't think that he's attracted. I don't think that he's even romantically or sexually attracted to me anymore. And so therefore, like, she was saying, I don't think he dreams of me or thinks about, being with me in that fashion anymore. So it was a dead thing to her. She even ventured to say, I think maybe he's disgusted by the thought. Now I thought that was going a little too far. I don't think unless she does something super egregious to him, or she starts looking away in which men are rarely ever disgusted by a woman that they spent a lot of time being romantically involved with. And they're not that the thought of being romantically involved with them doesn't necessarily disgust them. They're just not going to do it. And they may not have the attraction anymore, but disgust is kind of goes the other way. But that's what she said. That she said that she thought that Dennis, just was not attracted to her at all, like in any way, shape, or form at this time. And so therefore, any thought of them getting back together as a married couple, as a couple, was just not in the cards, not going to happen. So it was interesting to hear her take, because Stephanie is a pretty woman. Let's just be honest with that. Stephanie's pretty. She's fit, and things of that nature. She's pretty. She's well spoken. She's intelligent, you know. So she's not she's not hard on the eyes at all. Like at all. That's her hair. You know what I mean? Like she's not running around here with a whole bunch of weave and a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying? So I don't, I just think that she's just not that, I'm going to say this and I'm going to end it. That's a woman's way of sort of shielding herself with going to the other end of it. Oh, I think you might be disgusted with thinking of me in that way. That's a woman's way of, if we go all the way to the extreme negative, then we can't be hurt by the reality of it, because he may not be sexually attracted to her anymore. But on some level, that's gotta sting, because women want to be wanted. We want to be wanted, and we definitely want to be wanted by men that have been with us before sometimes, even if we don't want to be with them, even if we don't like them anymore. Women just want to be wanted. That's just a part of it. Women want to be wanted. We certainly don't like rejections. So that is in her way of, if ever the question came up and he happened to admit or tell me that he's not attracted anymore, that is a rejection. So I'm prepared for that by arming myself with already feeling that way or already thinking that. It's weird. Women are weird. Women are really weird. But I caught that. I caught why she was saying that. Because she knows she's cute. But she also knows it's over. You know when it's over. When it's really over. Like there's no going back, point of no return over. And that's what that is. So actually good on her for understanding that and not having some type of pipe dream about getting back with a man that isn't showing you that level of interest or that type of interest. Just deal with the reality as it is. You had a marriage, you had that romance with him, and for whatever reason, it did not work. So therefore, you're not in that seat anymore. So no point in being delusional about ever getting back to that space, especially if your co-parenting relationship and your interactions with him do not do not lend themselves to that thinking. So even though she's in her emotional space as a woman, she's actually handling that in a feminine way. But she's also not being delusional about, oh, well, I know he want me and I know he, you know what I'm saying, pining to be back with me. And I know, no, she didn't go there. It's like, nope, it's not going to work. By the way, I do not like how this lady is flat ironing her hair at all. Is it just me, or did she not section her hair off well enough? Like, in my opinion, like, I just feel like she should have duck clipped parts of it off. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyways, so the link to this episode is going to be in the description as usual. Go ahead and subscribe to Dennis Sperling's channel. Make sure that you catch each and every episode. It drops once a week on Thursday evenings. So you definitely want to catch a more positive show depicting Black people and a family structure, right? So you definitely want to check that out. Like I said, go ahead and subscribe to Dennis Sperling's channel. And while you're at it, jump in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to this channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.